Hi, my name is Antoinette Benevento, and I'm honored to be talking with you about the work that Dr. Mark Force does in this world. I started with Dr. Force 15 years ago, and honestly what brought me in was my sister has multiple sclerosis, and Mayo Clinic directed her here to get some additional help. And we did not know anything about applied kinesiology. I had experience with a chiropractor, certainly, but nothing else. Chinese medicine, acupuncture, the neurological work that he does, the list goes on and on. I had no idea. And when we got here, my sister was so relieved that she had found him to help her, and she found a sense of peace about a terrible disease, and I actually had some hope going forward. So when I started, I'm a dancer and a ballroom dancer, and I had done some pretty major damage to my body and didn't consider anything in my 20s about what I should or should not do, and so I was living with pain. And up to that point, I had going to a chiropractor twice a week, and I would get an adjustment or whatever the chiropractor does, and then it would be it would be good for a couple days, and then I would need to go back again. And so I came to Dr. Force for that purpose. I thought, you know what, can you do anything different than these other chiropractors can do? Again, in the beginning, thinking he's a chiropractor, and much to my surprise, found out that he is so much more. And by the grace of God, that we all have him. So he said, Antoinette, I could probably fix this in 6 sessions. I said, fix this? My goodness, I've been going to a chiropractor for 2 years. So never considered that it would be fixed, just thought it was something I would have to manage. And that was probably the most enlightening day of my life when it came to my own personal medical or self-care, is that the things that happen to our bodies, like pain or any unusual symptoms that we're experiencing, that we're not fully alive and fully engaged, they're actually not normal, and they're not part of aging, and they're not part of this. There's no real qualified excuse for those things. That's one of the most important facts that I've learned from Dr. Force, is that, for the most part, there's never always and never never, but for the most part, anything unusual that happens, I bring to him, and he has a solution, and it is a solution. So that was the beginning, and yes, the pain went away. And then at a later time, which is probably most impressive, I came back again with pain again, and in the end it was my multiple vitamin, that I did not have enough of, or the correct multiple vitamin. He adjusted my multiple vitamins and my supplements, and the pain went away again. So that story has trickled through my family. I have a sister that has come, in fact all of my family comes to Dr. Force, and my friends, and everybody I meet. Can't tell you how grateful I was the day I got diagnosed with breast cancer. And I got the call at home, and I thought, what am I going to do? And my very first thought was, I am going to go call Dr. Force, and I'm going right there. And that's literally what I did. I didn't even go to I went through Mayo Clinic, but I didn't even go there first. I went to Dr. Force first. And I walked into him and I said, I just want to live. He says, I know you do. And he was very, very straightforward. He just said, Antoinette, I'm going to do all I can to get you ready for this battle, to support you through the battle, and I'll be there on the other side too. And this is the most interesting part, I think, of this story. It's not even so much that I used a vegan lifestyle and all the supplements, and then I came to him regularly to help support the journey and make it much easier for me. My counts stayed up, so he understands cancer, understands that when you go through the treatments, your counts come down and put you at great risk for all kinds of infection. Many people have a very, very difficult time, God bless them, and I did not. I did not, because I followed his every word. This is what you do now, this is what you do now, this is what you do now. And I can't say what he told me to do, but it was a huge process in terms of being able to support me through everything. And he made the changes that were necessary. A lot of people might look at this and go, oh yeah, but through chemo you're not supposed to take some supplements. Right, exactly, he knows that. And so he changed them as the time went on in terms of what I was doing. He's so incredibly knowledgeable, he's so educated, and he is a master at tying together all of the different modems that could keep us feeling well and living vibrantly. And so he was able to do that for me. And as a result, I was able to still take care of my family. And I have many responsibilities. I play many roles. I own businesses. I'm the national training director for Fred Astaire, and I had to work. There's no way I could not work and take care of my beautiful family, and he gave me the support to be able to do that. Probably the most impactful moment of the cancer journey with Dr. Force was, unfortunately, in Western medicine, I was told that I did not have cancer. And I waited 5 months and came back. And because Dr. Force has me so focused on self-care, that it's my responsibility that my body is taken care of, not somebody else's, and not to place my life in somebody else's hands, I went back and I said, I'm not satisfied with your diagnosis. I just know my body and I know something's wrong. And they retested, and yeah, there was something wrong. I had stage 3 breast cancer. And then when I came to him and I told him, they told me the very first time, so we did not know about the lymph nodes, did not know it was stage 3 anything. You could tell it was a huge mass, but we didn't know how large. And I said, Dr. Force, they're telling me there's no lymph nodes. As you see the process, I kept coming back to him through it. Even though Western medicine was saying this, I'd come to Dr. Force and say, they're telling me there's no lymph nodes involved. And he tested me and said, yes, Antoinette, there is. I know at least this one lymph node. So then I took that information and I went back and I said, I don't believe you. I don't. So we moved doctors. Of course, by that time I moved, which would only make sense, right? But, and then, yes, it was actually 13 lymph nodes. I don't know what I would have done without him. But today, I'm probably most grateful that we have him available to my entire family. You know, I'm thinking about my children and their lives. I've been very lucky. You know, all I've had is cancer, and right now at this point, it's been a blessing in my life. If you have to have cancer and you choose to learn from it, it can be a blessing, and mine was. But it's my children. You know, I know my kids now. We will be able to do things today when they're younger to avoid and be aware of the possible diseases in the future. And it's preventive that we need to be looking at today. It's not, what do we do once we get it? Because see, once you get it, I've been there, that is the most unpleasant process. And so many of the stories don't end like mine. They don't end alive. So to have him look at my children at this stage of the game when they're so young and make sure that they have the best chance at living a long life. God knows what's really been planned for us, but I sure want to hope that we get to spend a lot of time together, and I feel very confident that that's what he's actually doing for us. I would end my section with his heart. I have never been in the presence of a kinder, more considerate, more compassionate man in terms of wellness and the medical field. He truly cares, and he's available to you at any time. And when you get in his presence, I believe in God on such a grand scale, I know for a fact he's God's hands on this earth. So I'm so grateful. And I would encourage anybody that questions this kind of work to try it first. Just like when I got cancer, I wasn't going to question the chemo. Everybody told me that it was horrific. My experience was not horrific on chemo. So I'm saying to you, try it first. Don't make a decision about what his work is before you actually come and experience it. And I promise you, you will have similar experiences as I have, my family has, my friends have, my co-workers, and I have just a circle so large that have followed me to Dr. Force and couldn't be more grateful.